The final question is, what are your tips? And I think what are your tips for our instructors and our coaches that wants to begin the teaching virtually and also to be consistent in teaching dojo classes online. So I think these are the questions that our viewers wanted to listen to so that they can actually try to implement the tips based on the problems that they experienced. Maybe with your tips, they will be more confident and they can be more courageous to start their online karate classes. So yeah, that is a good tip for instructors who are new to this online setting. Okay, thank you, Sensei Imai. How about Sensei Zad? What are your tips for newcomers, not newcomers, for our instructors who are still new with this whole online virtual dojo session? Yep, Sensei Zad.
Rather than calling myself giving tips, I would say I'll be very pleased and honored to share the steps I've taken to address the challenges mentioned earlier. So, firstly, for me personally, I perform every routine I give myself, all the exercises, all the techniques. This is so that it provides an example for the students to perform along with me, at least, so they know exactly what to do, and also ensure the parents they know how their students are doing. Lately, it has.
I am very pleased to have been invited to this webinar titled How to Teach Virtual Karate-Do Effectively, organized by Selangor Shito-ryu Karate-Do Association, a member of the Malaysian Association of Shito-ryu Karate-Do, or MASK, of which I'm a member of as well. This webinar was held live on 22nd August during the pandemic, of course. I am not part of the organizing team for this webinar. I was merely invited to be a panelist. I really enjoyed my time for the full close to 3 hours. There were many interesting speaking points and sharings on the topic, and we received good reception by viewers. So I thought it would be good if I were to share and spread the word, and I've obtained permission from Selangor Shito-ryu to post this video on my channel. So here it is. This webinar was conducted in English. Even though there may be a bit of Malay words mixed into it here and there, it is perfectly intelligible by English listeners. I will be in the red shirt and my name is written as Sensei Zad. I don't think there's anything more for me to say, as whatever that needs to be introduced about this webinar will be in this webinar itself, and the praise that I would like to give about this webinar will also be in this webinar.
All right. Greetings. Good morning. Assalamualaikum, everyone. And let me welcome all of you to the first ever Selangor Shito-ryu webinar series 2021. My name is Daniel Baharudin. I'm an English lecturer from IIM and also an alumni and also a member of IIM Shito-ryu Seishinkan Dojo. And I will be your moderator for today's event. All right. For your information, everyone, so our webinar series is the first ever webinar series that is organized by the Persatuan Shito-ryu Karate-Do Selangor, where we invite distinguished speakers and also panelists to discuss issues, problems, and also in terms of knowledge sharing that is related to karate. So today will be our very first episode, and the topic of today's episode will be on how to teach virtual karate-do effectively. So I'm going to be explaining more about the topic later and also introducing our panelists a bit later. But since this is our very first webinar series, we have invited several guests of honors to give their speech and also to officiate our event today. So with that, let me invite our first guest of honor, which is Sensei Norazmizan Muhammad Fauzi, which is the president of Persatuan Shito-ryu Karate-do Selangor, to give his keynote address. So a bit about Sensei Mizan. Yeah, he is currently practicing law, and in terms of karate, he has more than 25 years of experience and currently in 4th Dan. And he is also the vice president for the Malaysian Association of Shito-ryu Karate-do, or mostly known as MASK. So with that, let me invite Sensei Mizan to give his keynote address. Sensei Mizan, please welcome.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to everyone, and especially to Encik Daniel, our moderator today for this program. Okay, I don't want to talk too long about this on this occasion. Just to give some idea what is actually our webinar series. Okay, this is one of the series in our program webinar series number 1. We're going to talk about our visual training on the effective nerve during this pandemic, and hopefully after this more webinar series will come. Okay, so I hope everybody pray all our schedule, our plan program will be conducted in coming soon time. Okay, so thank you very much to everybody, especially our special guest, Mr. President, our president of Shito-ryu Karate-do Malaysia, MASK, and all our panelists today, distinguished instructor in MASK, who willing to help and then to share their knowledge in our first ever webinar series. So hopefully with this series, everybody can learn something during this pandemic, because we know karate is 100% on the physical training, but because of this situation now, we need to think how to conduct our class even without a physical training. So that's why we come up with this idea. We try to share and then hope everybody, not only for the instructor, and of course for the members also, for the student, to get the idea how to conduct, how to attend, how to teach the training visually during this pandemic. So this is our idea as a Shito-ryu Selangor. Try not to stop the training even though during this pandemic. So hopefully everybody can get something from this special webinar series number 1, and then hopefully we will meet again another series of webinars. And then that's all from me. Thank you to all panelists, and especially for our Mr. President and the viewers also, of course. And then let's enjoy the webinar series. Thank you very much. Back to Mr. Daniel. Thank you.
All right, okay. Thank you, Sensei Mizan, for the speech. Okay, so next we will continue with our second guest of honor. With that, let me invite Yang Berbahagia Tuan Abu Zarim Abu Bakar, the President of Malaysian Association of Shito-ryu Karate-do, or MASK, to give his speech and to officiate this event. So a bit about Tuan Abu Zarim. Yeah, he is currently the Director of Design Circle Architect, and he has been the member of Lembaga Architect Malaysia since 1993. And he also have several positions in the Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia, or PAM, as the Secretary, Vice President, and Deputy President. So with that, let me invite Tuan Abu Zarim to give his speech and also to officiate this event. Tuan Abu Zarim, the floor is yours. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Okay, this is probably the first time that I'm meeting you, so thank you. Thank you to the President of Selangor, Shito-ryu, okay, for inviting me to give a word or two and probably officiate this webinar. Okay, now I've gone through some of the what do you call it? This background of Shito-ryu Selangor, and it seems that Selangor Shito-ryu has been very active. Okay, and keep it up. Okay, and keep on moving. And I think also there is also you have already what do you call it? Several programs planned for the year in September as well as in December, and not to mention, just to quickly mention, there's even some a major program in November 2022. So kudos to all of you. Now, a bit about myself when I was approached to helm Malaysia MASK. Okay, I was a bit reluctant in the first place because it's been quite a while since I left the scene, the Shito-ryu scene. I think I was sometime back, way back in 2000. I can't remember, 2003, 04, or something like that. Okay. Yeah, I was asked to helm Shito-ryu Selangor. So that was a long time ago. And the reason why I am actually in karate at that point of time was because my kids, all of my 4 kids were in karate, and they have all now grown up. Okay, and it's a good, I can testify here that it's a good training for any of the kids here. If there is any parents here, I do encourage them to send their kids over, and it's a good training ground for children of younger age, and they grow up, and they are now, I would say, they are now very responsible citizens. Okay, and a bit okay. So Shito-ryu MSAK at national level. We need a lot of things to be done to get back on the track again. Not to say that it's not this one, but we can do a lot better. And yeah, we have a few things in mind. Okay, reorganizing at the national level, which also includes a lot of things. And one of my main concern is increasing the number of instructors so that we can expand our dojos in all the states, especially in KL and in Selangor. So this is a step towards it, and I hope that every state, including Selangor here, will give their full cooperation in terms of the coming programs that are going to be planned at the national level, because national level will need all the help, okay, from all the states. As for today's program, I think it's a very interesting program, and it is one of many, I hope, okay, not only from Selangor, but also the other states will follow suit and do something similar. Okay, and without, for the first thing, I think I will not talk a lot. I'll keep it short. Okay, and I hope all the best to Selangor Shito-ryu, and this webinar hopefully will be a success and the first of many. With that, I will officiate this webinar. Okay, and again, all the best to the Shito-ryu Selangor. Thank you very much. Over to you, Daniel.
All right. Thank you very much, Yang Berbahagia Tuan Abu Zarim, for your continuous support and also for the speech and officiating the event. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin our webinar today, there will be a short video presentation prepared by the committee members. So please enjoy. Okay, so that was the video presentation showcasing the activities and events that has been organized by our Persatuan. Okay, so everyone, I think you are eager. You want to actually listen what the topic is all about. So let us begin officially with the webinar. So as I mentioned just now, our topic for today will be how to teach visual karate-do effectively. So like right now we are currently in a pandemic. Yeah, in the case of Malaysia, we can see that the cases are not getting any better. It's getting higher and higher by the day. Although our vaccination rates are improving, which is a good thing. However, due to the nature of the pandemic, there are not a lot of activities that can be conducted face to face. And we know when we talk about sports, specifically martial arts, in this case karate, the nature of our training, of dojo sessions, sports training, are more face to face in nature. Okay, it's when we think about it, it's kind of hard to actually transform karate session, karate dojo to online. So because of this, because of the pandemic, most of our senseis, our instructors, they are not allowed to conduct training as usual. As I mentioned just now, it makes it difficult. So they are actually unsure on how to solve this problem. Okay, so because of that, we present to you the topic for today, in which the main objective is to give ideas and also to encourage all instructors, our senseis, our senpais, to start and to be motivated to embrace the new norm, in which to conduct online karate classes and online dojo session. Okay, so before we discuss further on the topic, let me introduce our awesome number of panelists today. We have 3 panels, So the first panelist, let me invite Sensei Amirul Iman Dola, or mostly known as Sensei Iman. All right. So Sensei, how are you?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Alhamdulillah, fine, thank you. How about you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Living the life at home. Okay. So a bit
Enjoying
about
the MCO.
Sensei, trying to enjoy as much as possible. Okay, so a bit about Sensei Iman. He is currently a lawyer and also an instructor of Shito-ryu Malaysia for more than 10 years. And his other achievements and experiences in terms of coaching, he was the head of coach for Team Kata, KarateZad Malaysia University Squad 2018 for the Asian Game or AUG in Myanmar, and also represent IIUM as the Malaysian team coach in the Open World Yamadaha Gishinkan World Cup Championship 2018 in the Hyogo, Osaka, Japan. So that is a bit about Sensei Iman. Okay, let us move on to our second panelist. Let me invite Sensei Datu Firzada, or mostly known as Sensei Zad.
Hi, good morning.
Hi,
Assalamualaikum.
Morning. Salam. How are you, Sensei?
Doing great. I'm honored to be invited, and it's great to meet all of you here since a long time.
All right, thank you, Sensei. So a bit about Sensei Zad, So he is a senior data analyst and also an instructor for Shito-ryu Malaysia for around 10 years, And in terms of his other experience, he has experience in coaching for UITM Karate Sports Team for around 8 years, for several Masum Games and also Sukan IPT, Sukip, as a coach for MASK Karate Team for the 26th Makaf National Cadet Championship, and also the coach for the MASK Kuala Lumpur team for the 6th EMZ Championship. And a bit more interesting about Sensei Zad, he has made several television appearances, such as in Saleh Yaakob Show and also Nasi Lemak Kopi O. So so that is a bit about our second panelist, All right, now let us introduce our third panelist, which is Sensei John Chong, or mostly known as Sensei John.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Sensei. How are you, Sensei?
Good. Hopefully everyone safe and healthy.
Yep, hoping that everyone will be okay in this pandemic, Okay, so a bit about Sensei John, So he is currently the project manager on interior design and also one of the instructors of Shito-ryu Malaysia for more than 10 years. Okay, his other experiences and achievement is he obtained the Malaysia Karate Federation or MAKAF qualified referee and judge licenses. And in terms of his coaching experience, he has coached both MASK junior and senior team for several MAKAF junior and senior championship, and also coached several Malaysia University Karate team in the Asian University Game or AUG 2012 in Laos, AUG 2014 in Indonesia, and also coached AUG Karate Team 2010 in Thailand. So that is a bit about our 3 panelists today. All right. So I think I can invite all the panelists to the screen now. We are going to start discussing. Very interesting, Okay, so we have Sensei Zad. Okay, all senseis. Are you ready?
Hello. Yes, we are. Inshallah.
All right. Okay. So before we start, viewers, please do share our webinar to your friends and families. Yeah. Not only to anyone who is in karate, but anyone. You know, maybe when they watch this video, this webinar, they are interested to actually come and join, you know, the karate family. Okay. So if you have any questions, you may comment in the comment section. Okay, and I will read your question and I will ask those questions to our three handsome panelists for today. All right. Okay, so let us start with the first question. Okay, so we know that our lockdown, yeah, our MCO started in March 2020 last year. So I think we all are interested on when you start your visual karate, because I think it needs implementation. You know, you cannot start right away. So just out of curiosity, when do you start your visual karate? Let's begin with Sensei Iman.
All right. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Very good question, and very good sharing of information by Senpai Daniel. Actually, Mr. Daniel also is our karateka, so we get used to call him Senpai Daniel as well. Okay, being an IUN online. Okay, I'll come back to your question just now. When do we start the virtual karate on our end? Okay, in UIA dojo, in Imakara dojo. Okay, Alhamdulillah, we managed to start on April right away when the first MCO was announced. Okay, and actually, the first time, the first experience that we want to start the virtual karate, we do feel the worriness whether or not it's going to be effective. All right, or will the parents support and will the students support? But Alhamdulillah, the outcome, it turns out very well. So we never stopped ever since, Alhamdulillah. And during the physical class were permitted during the July 2020, during the RMCO recovered movement control order (PKPB). Okay, so I proceed with the hybrid classes. Actually, I took the aspiration of how our university trying to do it as well when the Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi imposed the hybrid program. Okay, impose the hybrid program whereby the physical class will be teach together with those who cannot come to the faculty by online. So I apply the same. Okay, there's a physical class. At the same time, the physical class actually we try to adhere so much on the MKN SOP, Alhamdulillah, and we combine with virtual class at the same time. So seriously, Mr. Daniel, it was very much challenging for us as an instructor. But Alhamdulillah, when we come back to the original, I mean the full MCO again, I'm not saying that we are happy with the MCO, no. But we're happy that we have a good starting point or good background on our virtual class. So all the parents, all the students did support our virtual class during the second MCO. So till today, we still proceed with the class. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sensei Iman. Yeah. Okay, so we see there's a lot of timeline, going to virtual straight away after. So it's good that you went straight away, because it shows that we need to be proactive, okay, with all the pandemic on how to embrace, like we said just now, the new norm. Okay, so how about Sensei Zad? Sensei Zad, how do you, when do you start your visual karate session?
Okay. Firstly, I would like to congratulate Shito-ryu Selangor, Sensei Mizan, Sensei Iman, and yourself, Daniel. I think this is a great and necessary effort and great idea to do. So I'm great to be involved. So to answer your question, I started pretty much same immediately upon MCO was implemented. That was about April 2020. And in between then and now, we resumed an on-premise training back just for a few months around, if I'm not mistaken, August 2020 one time and April 2021, okay, when the restrictions were lifted. But then ever since we returned to back to virtual classes ever since. And the challenges are are still there, learning to overcome challenges, and it takes a while to get used to. But pretty much that's it.
All right, thank you, Sensei Zad. So again, similar to Sensei Iman, straight away, and we noticed that both Sensei Iman and Sensei Zad mentioned that there are challenges, and we could ever imagine, right? And don't worry, there will be some question on you, on the challenges you experience. Of course, I know that virtual karate seems to be very difficult, yeah, since karate involve movements and everything. But we will get to it later. Okay, how about Sensei John? When do you start your visual karate session?
Yeah, okay. For myself, for your all information, I have the teaching in the private school in Confucian. So basically, it's after the first MCO started on 2020. So when the school resumed back, the school activity basically is on the July last year, 2020, July, we have started back this called that unphysical training. I mean, all by using the visual online training method. So this is same as the school current. They all proceed is the online classes. So all the activity is not just of the karate, others are school, olahraga, those sport. Also, they're all doing the online. So unfortunately, my karate class also started on last year July until today.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Sensei John. So I think it's similar with Sensei Iman and Sensei Zad. Yeah. Sensei John also started the visual karate straight away, and if you guys remember, yeah, if you guys remember that there are some relax in between, okay, in between the MCO, and then we can actually do like a face-to-face karate session, sports training. So we went back to hybrid, and unfortunately the cases are becoming worse. It's not getting any better. So we go back to we are not allowed to have a face-to-face session. So yeah, it's good to know that our fellow senseis are proactive in handling this kind of situation, and we need to do that because we're not so sure how long this pandemic will be, right? And yeah, okay, so all right, it's good to know when did they start the visual karate. So let's move on to the second session. Okay, so the second question, sorry. So the second question, how do you initiate your first class? Meaning, I know there will be some challenges, some preparation, of course, yeah? So it will be interesting to see how do all of you prepare with initiating your first visual class, right? So let's start with Sensei Iman. Iman, are you there? Are you
I think
unmuted?
there's audio problem.
Mic off. The mic mute. Unmute the mic.
Itulah challenge.
Yes.
Challenge of the virtual.
Later, we are going to discuss later. Okay.
I see. Okay, sure.
Okay. So, how do you initiate your first class? Meaning, how's the preparation? Yeah, it's interesting to know from your end.
Yes. Thank you. Actually, Brother Daniel, Mr. Daniel, to initiate the first class, that's the hardest part of all. That's the hardest part because of as Sensei Zad, Sensei John mentioned just now, the challenge, all right? When this is unprecedented, we call it something that never happened, as our president of Shito-ryu Selangor also mentioned just now. Karate-do is actually a physical activities whereby we do not have any experience. I mean, for the constant online training week after week, session after sessions. Maybe seminars, yes, we do join online seminars, webinar for international level. But then for in charge of a class every week by virtual is not easy. So the starting part, how do I initiate? Of course, I try to embrace myself, get myself together. Okay, and of course, when we already got um, the strength, or we got the confidence, I managed to have a good discussions with parents, okay, through WhatsApp. All right, alhamdulillah. And they also did give good feedback on it. I asked whether everybody will be okay if our class proceed via online. So ever since then, we try to get as much information on the online class as possible. Okay, I did have a good discussion as well with others instructors from other martial arts. Okay, silat, my friend, silat coaches, taekwondo coaches, alhamdulillah. And finally, from the information that we got, okay, and also the research on pedagogy, I think Mr. Daniel as a lecturer understand very well the pedagogy, the methodology of teachings, yeah, pedagogy. So I did research, quick research on pedagogy for online classes as well. So from all the information, from all the findings that I got, then in April, straight away we launched our first virtual class. But of course, before we start, there's a hiccup here and there. I think we are going to share about it later.
Yeah, that will be the interesting part, the challenges,
True.
Okay.
True. Thank you.
Right,
Over
okay.
to you.
Okay, thank you, Sensei Iman. So, Sensei Iman mostly use, like we say, that the action part. Asking the person who are involved, right? The teachers, the instructors, the students, the parents, and also from other more experienced instructors, and trying to get that feedback and try to apply that. And of course, I think Sensei Iman and also Sensei John and Sensei Zad will agree that although we have all of these ideas that we think is good, but in reality, not really, kan? But we will get to it later. Okay, how about Sensei Zad? How do you initiate your first class? What are the preparation? Is it similar to Sensei Iman, or you have your own ways on how to initiate your class? Sensei Zad?
Yeah, well, similar. Since we already have WhatsApp groups for each of my classes, I discuss via WhatsApp, and parents are okay. And we use Zoom. I think most of us, we use Zoom, the application. There were some worries about Zoom because around that time when Zoom was doing really well, there were some news regarding Zoom being hacked by other people. However, there were safety measures available online, and there hasn't been any problem with any of my sessions on Zoom. So yes, it's just constant communication with parents and so on.
All right. Thank you, Sensei Zad. Yeah, I think communication is key because we are dealing with them. We're not dealing with computers. We're dealing with human beings, right? And we know that this is something that is still new to us. So yeah, communication is key. Trying to understand the problems that they face, what do they think, what works for them, and try to implement that in this case your virtual karate session. Okay, very good, Sensei Zad. Thank you. How about Sensei John?
Thank you.
How do you initiate your first class?
For myself, I think I'm much lucky than like Sensei Iman or Sensei Zad. They need to direct contact to the student or to the parents before starting this online training, everything. Because my classes is part under the school activity, is considered is a curriculum. So everything is arranged by the school. So they have the administration work by the teacher over the school. So myself is just like their pay, my salary, I conduct the class. So my side is much easier this way. So before we start, after the first MCO, so we have doing the online for all the members. We have the meeting. We do some discussion on that. So how to running this holding the program. So this is first thing we need to start lah, because it's also new for me myself doing the visual online training. So basically, we started the meeting, discussion, and then arrangement, the time frame, how long the classes will be on. So to fulfill the school curriculum, the requirement. So after that, we get the schedule, everything on. Then we are started on around July. So this is my how we start on the confusion our class.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Sensei John. Yeah. So Sensei John has a different experience, right? Because he is one of the instructors for the Confucian School. Okay, and I want to actually ask about the challenge, but yeah, I think we are going to get that later. Of course, dealing with school administration, outside people, yeah, there are other challenges, I think, right? But we are going to get that later with Sensei John. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. So I think we are going to discuss on the challenges, and I think these are the questions that all instructors wanted to listen. Yeah, instructors, our senseis, our fellow senseis, our fellow senpais. Yeah, and maybe also parents and also members of Karate Do. Yeah, the challenges. Let's say if let's say we have some instructors, senseis or senpais who are afraid of embracing the new norm to conduct online classes. So it will be good for them to understand what are the challenges that they will face before starting the class, and also during the class. So I think let us start with before the class first. Okay, I will move on with all the speakers, and then we can go to the next question, which is during the visual class. So let's start with Sensei Iman. Before the class, what are the challenges that you experience when you want to start? Maybe you mentally tired because you don't have any, everything is everywhere. So yeah, what are the challenges before starting the visual class?
So thank you for the question. Very, I can say a very good question, and this is the most important question, I believe, because people want to know how do we get through over the challenge. Okay, all right. So the reality is, we always thought that Karate Do, we go to the dojo, and then we start to teach, open the dojo door, open the dojo gate, students started to coming in, and so on. So when we move to virtual, so the challenges that we face is, of course, to embark with the flow of it, with the standard operating procedures, the SOP itself. Okay, do the student need to line up? Do we need to do the SEZA and so on? So the SOP of the virtual class, that's the thing that I work a lot when I before I start the virtual class. Okay, all right, and yes, we managed to go through it very well. Okay, with the input from my fellow instructors as well. Okay, and next challenge, I believe, to organize and trying to convince the student and the parents that the class will be no much different with the physical class. Okay, and this required experience, I believe, from the instructor side. Okay, to be able to control, to be able to deliver the materials of the class. Okay, the input, the syllabus well. All right, and then next also, I believe the challenge. Sorry, I list down quite few challenges. So I believe harap semua everybody can enjoy lah the challenges, can enjoy to listen these challenges, so that whenever
heads up.
Yeah, heads up. So whoever want to start, let's say going to start the virtual class, these are among the things that you're going to face. The SOP, second, the convince part. Okay, being the students, the parents as the clients, we take them as a clients. Okay, of course. Okay, in terms of marketing, we have to really show them that the online class is actually good, and this is the best avenue as of now during the MCO to proceed with the physical activities. Third, okay, we have the problems or the challenges to opt to the best mediums. Okay, I quote Sensei that input or information given just now when he started the class. Okay, the Zoom got the information we got about the Zoom. Okay, I don't know whether it's a gossip or it's a fact. Okay, I hope it was a gossip. It's not a fact. I hope because it was said that Zoom security is very bad. It was badly hacked. Sensei that. And then we need to jump to other platform at the time. They got Cisco, WebEx, Cisco, and whatsoever. And then even the WhatsApp also, they said change to Telegram, whatsoever. So there's IR 4.0, I think, the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Some people is trying to taking advantage on it by giving, I don't know whether it's a true information or it's only a gossip. Okay, so moving from there, as a sensei, as a responsible instructor, all of us, okay, then I convince the parents to jump into one platform to another platform. Okay, I don't have the, you know, the good I can say avenue or good support system like Sensei John having. School provide him all the platform and he can go. So we need to try and error lah. So mostly error. Then we come back to the right path. So we have tried Zoom. For your information, first we tried Zoom. Your luck. Thank you. So we tried Zoom and ajar pun boleh ada lah platform Okay. So itulah. So first Zoom. Second, we tried WhatsApp video call. For your information, that's the challenges. WhatsApp video call at that time they can launch into eight people per time. So my class at that time I divided into few sessions. So it was a hectic class starting from morning till afternoon for Saturday and Sunday. And then third, when the WhatsApp video call is quite unstable, so we moved to WebEx, Cisco WebEx. Okay, it's some sort like Zoom as well. And then fourth, we moved to Skype. We did use Skype. And finally, we use Google Meet. So Google Meet is quite stable, okay, but then the views or the way we use is no much friendly like Zoom. So finally, when we were informed that Zoom are okay already, they come back to their original security position. They are okay. Then we come back to Zoom until today. So that's the thing. I can say more to platform challenges before I start, and also the confidence and the convincing part. How to convince the parents and students. So yeah, that's about all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sensei Iman. A very interesting insights, on the challenges. I mean, there's a lot because this is, I think, something new to us. We have never actually think about, we do share our karate videos online to show how some techniques, the Garys, the Zukis, but we never think about conducting 100% online, right? It's difficult. So like what Sensei Iman stated, some of the challenges includes convincing. I think that's the hardest part because we are dealing with humans, like what I mentioned just now. We are dealing with humans, clients, some people have a lot of hesitation, or they are not they do not believe that, okay, can you do it or can you not do it? So it's a lot of convincing, and in order for us to convince, we need to prepare a lot, like what Sensei Iman stated, studying all of those different platforms, looking at the weaknesses and strength, and also the SOPs, the flow. Will it be the same? Will there be a Caesar and everything? So yeah, I think that are some of the input that Sensei Iman mentioned just now. How about Sensei Zad? Do you share the same challenges with Sensei Iman, or you have like a special one that you would like to share with us?
Similar, but not exactly the same. So the first thing is connection issues. When I first moved in after getting married, I did not bother getting a proper Wi-Fi because we spend most of our days outside at work. So when I started using only my data on the phone when we need internet access. So when I started having classes online, it was mostly through my data, and the connection was bad. So that was solved. Obviously, you just get a Wi-Fi. Second thing is, so this is about before starting classes, correct? Okay, so
Yep.
getting the location, like, do you have the space for it? Do you have the space to do what you want to do? And not just our location, students' location as well. Do they have the space for it? Having the correct background. Sometimes this may be the correct space, but the background's not good. And
Right.
another thing that I face, which I also receive feedback from parents, is the lighting. So I did it in a few places, like our place, and then sometimes on the weekend we visit my parents and I do it there. And then now we moved into a new place, so this is I have this mini dojo right now in my new house, and also an issue with lighting because sometimes the window is behind. So I get good feedback from students. They just say just feedback lighting. So I had to get a curtain because sometimes, even though your body is showing, students don't get full attention if they don't see your face. So you need to show your face. So that's
Correct.
where you
Correct.
need
Yep.
lighting. Yeah, and sometimes ensuring students are on time so that we can start on time. And sometimes they log in directly on time, or sometimes they try to log in, but it takes a while to connect. So these are some of the issues which I face before the classes
Before
start.
the
Yeah.
class. All right, thank you, Sensei. Oh, Sensei actually mentioned a very good, interesting new insights in which, in terms of location, karate is not like, you can teach like this, explain, blah, blah, blah. You need actually to have a huge space for you to move and also for the students to actually see the movements. How does the punches, how is the kicks, how is the stance and everything. So, yeah, I think for the instructors, sensei, senpais who are watching here, you need to consider that as well. The location of your house as well, maybe like what Sensei Zad mentioned, the background kan. Maybe you have a good, you have a good space, but all of a sudden you have like someone walking without any shirt on at the background. So, it's not very proper. So I think this thing, and as instructors, like what Sensei Zad mentioned, yeah, you need to mention this also to the students,
Yep.
having a good space and lighting as well. And this goes
Yeah.
back to what Sensei Ivan stated about, teaching methodology. Like I am a senpai, so I have like some experiences sharing, teaching the kohais, yeah, and the students actually need to see. Can if let's say you don't have a good lighting, how are they able to see the punches? How are they able to see the kicks if they only can see a shadow of you? Can so that's the issue, and the face as well. Especially kids, they need to see your face so that they can, you know,
They can
pay
relate
full
to you.
attention to you. Yep. So that's like some, I think, the teaching methodology for little kids. Okay. So thank you, Sensei Zad. A very great
you.
insight. How about Sensei John? What are the challenges? And I think you will share more interesting insights because you are dealing with schools. So, is there any issues,
if
challenges?
if before is like when this MCO, I totally is stuck in the outstation because that time I'm working in the outstation in Penang. So suddenly received the call that from the school say that they need to start the online visual class training. I say, oh my God, so how I need to go? So because I didn't bring any key over there, because totally in the MCO I start in the Penang. I can't came back to KL here. So I hope MCO free, so we stay in the Penang. So lastly, I get the place, the problem also because I don't have the dojo, and I mean I can move all around. So I thinking the most challenging is need to find a place,
The location.
and then you can the location you need to set up how as a same like Sensei that just now mentioned that you need to setting up your place, the lighting issue, the background issue. As for your understanding, I'm working in the interior. Sometimes I need to set up the training class in the working place. So that's my challenging part on that time. So luckily, After that, we came back. I came back to KL here. So usually right now, I'm using the own house doing the online training. So the problem is the same that is my facing part is same like that. The background issue, the lighting issue. Sometimes the sound, the worry,
Yes, the
when
sound.
you're speaking, the student can't hear. So
True,
I
true.
try to start improve to upgrade myself all the IT part. So I need to plot the visual camera and the additional camera, the mic receiver, so that the classes will go smooth. That is something need to uh, invest
True.
to invest.
All right, Sensei
Yeah.
John, thank you very much. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Sensei John also mentioned a very good point. Like all of us, we are not we have our daily job as well, right? We are not like 100% sensei. So like what Sensei
Full
John
time, not a
mentioned,
full time.
true. So like what Sensei John mentioned, when you are in outstation and then your client, which is your school, okay, they ask you to, okay, we're going to start our visual class. So these are the consideration. Okay, like what Sensei John mentioned. Okay, look at the space, where, how, the lighting and everything. And Sensei John also mentioned about sound. You know, uh, karate is all about instructing. Especially if online is very hard. If let's say we have like a face-to-face session, we can actually move their punch, kan, their zukis, their stance not good, so move a bit. So in online, it's all verbal, right? You cannot actually go to the camera and then like, tak boleh, you cannot. So your sound needs to be clear. So I think this is a good point that our fellow senseis and senpais, instructors who are watching this, invest to a good microphone, so that they can actually hear clearly your instructions, because karate is all about the movements and everything, so they need to know specifically on what to do and what not to do. So thank you very much, Sensei John. Okay, so that is actually before the class. So if all of you can see, there's a lot of preparation, so you cannot just sit alamak, chill, relax, and then okay, let's start
Yeah.
visuals. No,
You
man.
cannot,
No,
you
definitely
cannot
no.
conduct the class like right now. They start wearing the gaming earphone.
Exactly.
Sorry, I don't use this during class.
And also we cannot using the headphone, like the phone headphone to do the contact class, right? So you need to do some upgrade on your those types of accessories.
That's why upgrade yourself and upgrade your knowledge as well. So for those instructors, do not like chill. There's a lot of things to do. So that again, like what Sensei even stated, with all of our preparation and knowledge, we can convince our clients, like, okay, guys, we are ready and we can give you the best experience of visual karate, the same with face-to-face one. Okay, so very interesting points, by all our panelists. So that is before the class. How about during the class? This will be very interesting. I am an educator myself. I'm teaching, so I do face a lot of challenges during classes. But I think for karate session will be more interesting because it involves movements. So let's listen to Sensei Iman first. What are the challenges during classes, virtual classes?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So the challenges, of course, again, it's just like when we trying to start the class, there's our challenges. During the class also, suddenly we find another other challenges. So of course, I can say the challenges comes in many ways. Okay, among others that I really face is the left and right issue. If we are doing karate do, we believe when we do the three Ks, the three Ks in karate do, the kihon, the kata, the kumite. Okay, I always mention to my students, all right, the three Ks actually embedded what karate do that we are training today, the kihon, fundamentals, the kata, prasek movements, and also the kumite, the sparring elements, okay, the meeting of hands. Okay, so when we do that, obviously in the virtual class, partners kumite will not be happen at all unless they got brothers and sisters at home doing karate together. Then I can ask them to partner. Betul Sensei semua Tapi kalau depan screen, kalau dia tumbuk pecah screen, mak ayah marah kita tak jamin lah. Contoh. But we always can do randuri sparring lah. Randuri sparring. We do just, on the agility of the technique, on the speed. We train on that. Okay? Shadow sparring, of course. But partner sparring will not happen. So now the issue on Kihon and Kata, there's a specific movements on left or right. So when we do teach in front of the screen, okay, being the center of the show, okay, as a sensei, center of the show, students will exactly follow whatever we do. So what I can see, they keep doing the kata at the first part. They keep doing the kata wrong side. Then when they start, I say wrong, another side, wrong. So that's the challenge. That's one challenge. Then I found out that the view is that, okay, when I switch on the Zoom, we are on the Zoom, and I switch on my another devices, what I look at myself, why I do this left movement to the right? Oh, actually it's a mirror image. So what do I do rather than adjusting the mirror image, which is I don't feel right because we do left but the screen do right. So myself nanti yang pening. So what I do, myself become the mirror for them. So that's the first thing that I do, and it takes me quite some time to get used to it. All my high-end kata is not start with left, start with right for the online class. But student will definitely start with left. They will do it normally and I'm happy. Okay, saya dah tak marah-marah dah. Macam tu kan, okay? So that's the first thing, left and right image issue. And second thing, as Senpai Daniel mentioned just now, the challenge on to correct the students. Okay, we look near but we are far. Okay, everybody is at their own location. I student that follow my class from overseas, from Indonesia, from Italy, and so on. So definitely they are in front of my eyes, but then we cannot correct them at all. Okay, so that's the challenge, the correcting the movement. So what do is that I ensure I remember all of the students' name, the one appeared or present at my class. And of course, whatever slight mistake that we see, I do not delay to correct it. I will straight shout to them, Daniel, correct your hand, Daniel, or something like that. I will do it definitely. So it will be a very smooth, very interactive class. Okay, as compared to if we do on physical, we can straightly jump to him, go to him, and correct his hand. Am I right? Yep. But then
without actually explaining, just
it's not actually happen in the virtual class. So what we can do is like a mommy nagging to kids lah. That lah. So we remind them. That's the second thing about correcting techniques. Okay, perfect technique, perfect kihon is required in karate do. And finally, I can say to ensure the students focus time. Okay, because research shows that small kids is no more than half an hour. So what we can do, the rest in between is a lot. When rest, some instructors did text to me. They don't agree the way I do. It's an open criticism. I'm okay if it is what we call constructive criticism, and it will lead to a good discussion. Okay, I don't mind. I'm okay. No personal, because it's all about karate too. Okay, alright. Then I said, why you always switch off the camera when you allow the student to rest? When we are training them online, you have to really make it rigid. We have to see what they do when they rest. And I say, having them in front of our class is good enough. Okay, and when the resting time, let's say now it's 11:02 minutes. Then I say, okay, everybody rest, 11:04 minutes, we come back, thank you. Then I switch off the camera. So I allow them to actually to stretch, to lay down, whatever, because they are in the comfort of their room, to go to the kitchen to drink water, whatever. So that is my belief. We have to respect their privacy as well, their space as well. They managed to come to our online, our virtual class is good enough. And I think Senpai Daniel understand as an educator as well. There's a screen hectic. There's a technology hectic on the students because they've been doing the PDPR the whole week. The whole week they've been doing a class, okay, online, and suddenly at the weekend need to attend our karate class some more. So let's make it fun. Let's make it not tension, not stressful. So that's my approach. So that's a challenge that I face. First is to adjust left and right. The second is on the correcting the technique. The third one is on to ensure their focus, their understanding is there, considering their mental static and so on. And alhamdulillah, from our first class too, I managed to gather from 200 plus in our database, 125, 27 turn up for the class till today. So half, when they still not believe in the virtual class, they want to wait for the physical class. Finally, I can believe the interest is a little bit fade away. So I hope when the physical class happen, okay, alhamdulillah, all my students that listen to this live, please come back, okay? Alright, my dear, please come back, okay, insyaAllah. So jadi macam promote pula sikit sampai dia ni, I'm sorry. Okay, so anyway, that's all sharing from me. The challenges happen. I can say it's quite practical lah, yeah. Okay, I believe Sensei Zad and Sensei John have more to share. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sensei Ibanya. I think one of the things that is interesting you mentioned is about the left and right. I never actually think about that, you know. When I was thinking like how we can conduct karate classes, I think about mostly about how to correct the techniques, but I never actually think about, you know, the left and right. You know, we move left, but the camera sees right, but the kids or our student sees a different thing. So I can just imagine how hectic it can be. So I think these are the things that fellow instructors can take note, you know. Or maybe you can do like a dry run first. Maybe you can do like a session with other instructors or other senpais, you know, test. Okay, if you move left for this platform, macam mana? How? Right? How? So I think, you know, that's a good point to discuss. Yeah, and like you mentioned just now about the correcting technique, can when in physical class we can just go, you know, the sensei usually can go straight away and then change, you know, let's say the zuki is like this, can change like this, but in virtual we need to constantly speak. I think Sensei John says this, I agree that there are more, you know, talking in virtual class than the physical class, I think. Yeah, so you need to take note, the instructors need to take note on that as well. So thank you, Sensei Iman. Yeah, how about Sensei Zad? What are your challenges during classes?
Yeah, first I would like to say that comparing to classes that require pen and paper or typing, we have a slight advantage because the students can't go to the keyboard and start surfing online. So we have the advantage of getting their attention because it's physical. They're forced to do it. They can't wander off as much as I'm sure you've experienced since you teach English, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing. So the challenges, of course, many. There are two, I would say, two main challenges. One is the greatest challenge, I think, is retaining students' interest and enthusiasm. So especially amongst the primary school students and even lower secondary. So interest is because it's not physical. You're not there. They don't feel the semangat as they do in the class. So that's a challenge. And to interest and attention, of course, attention. So attention usually is with the lower primary. So you know, kids, their attention span is quite short, even in on premise. So if it's looking at the screen, it's even shorter. And enthusiasm is usually with the secondary school students. They don't have the feel. So the next greatest challenge. So that's actually a short-term challenge within one class. The next greatest challenge is a long-term challenge, whereby you want to maintain progress in the students' development throughout the months. That's quite difficult, partly because my classes, most of my class, or pretty much all my classes are now just once a week. So it's unlike our time. In our time, we train 5 times a week. But nowadays, it's once a week. So the progress is slower. And when it goes online, it's even slower because they're not performing the techniques as they do on premise. You can't go there and fix them. You can't get a focus mate and test their strength, and you can't sweep them to test their balance. Yeah. So that's the two greatest challenge. Another smaller challenges is different belt levels in one class. So you
Oh,
want to do different
yeah.
katas. Yeah. So this is a challenge which we also face in training on premise, but at least on premise there is a way to mitigate that. Sometimes you can separate.
Yeah, to categorize them, right?
Yeah, categorize them. But online, sometimes you still have to do the same thing. Okay, let me look at white belts for now. The rest train your own kata. Let me look at. So it's a similar challenge, but the way to deal with it is slightly different. Yeah, and of course, like all of you mentioned, the fixing the technical details of the techniques. That initially I did not focus on that because I just want them to get used to training online. After a few months, then I can start going into, okay, fix this, and I have to zoom the camera to my arm, to my feet, to my knees, stuff like that. Lastly, we have to consider the challenges that parents face. So that is actually a big thing which I tend to forget. So challenges that parents face will also be our challenges, and that's what we have to remember. And I think, yeah, regarding retaining students' interest, some parents decide to, especially for the young kids, they decide to put their children's training on hold because they have to manage their children throughout the entire class, and it's quite difficult for them.
They need
Yeah,
to manage.
they need to manage. So it's sometimes quite difficult for them. In some cases, like actually my brother is sending his son. So for his case, he doesn't want his son to lose interest in karate
I
because
see.
of the online training. So he decided to stop temporarily, so that when you start training karate, it's an environment that he enjoys.
Okay,
And
true.
And I got one last thing regarding the left and right. I faced that with Kihon, but not so much with kata, because in the class, physical classes itself, it's mirror image anyway, so they get gotten used to it. But one tip I have actually for that is, so during the online class, usually I will start kata here. I will say, okay, now I'm doing this way. Then I do this. Then I do that.
Oh,
Sometimes I do that. Yeah. So
from the
sometimes I
back.
flip around. Yeah. So I do that when I notice some children get confused, and that's about it for me.
So
Right.
it's like Sensei Zad is being there with them in the class, like in
Yeah.
front of
Yeah.
them, and
From their
they just
perspective.
follow behind you. They just follow behind you. Behind you,
Yeah.
they follow.
Yeah.
Things like that. Good,
Yeah.
good, 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 good.
Okay, so thank you,
So
Sister
as a
Zaya.
student as well, become student.
Yeah, we learn
Okay,
something. Yeah, true, true.
so I can only imagine the chaos, you know. Some students also have a problem with left and right, right? I think you
Yeah.
understand, like, okay, you say left but they go right, but and you say right, no, left. So even that left and right, they are confused. So we can imagine, you know, the issue with the mirror and everything. So these are the things that instructors need to take note. But one thing that is interesting that Sensei Zad mentioned just now is about the interests and the vibe, kan, the atmosphere. Because
Yeah.
I think even for me, when I go to dojo, I really like the environment that we are in. A lot of people with gi, and then we can hear the kia, and then we can
Mm.
see other people being miserable. Kan, when our sensei asks us to do a lot of things, and menangis-nangis. So we love that. So since that, so do you think these are, because they are at home, when maybe they are alone? Okay, sometimes if they don't have any siblings, or they are the only students who are in the karate. So do you think because of that environment, that sometimes they macam ala boringnya, tak best ya? Do you feel that way with the students sometimes, or maybe feedback from the parents
It's
because of the
definitely the
environment?
environment. Yeah, it's definitely the environment. The feel is different. Uh, there's no tangible feel. Whenever something is more tangible, you you can relate to the situation better, and then you can feel it more involved. But when there's this
True.
separation, there's you feel partially involved in a way.
You feel disconnected in a sense, although
Yes,
you
you
are
feel
connected
disconnected.
online, but you are disconnected in terms of, you know the yeah. the connection there. Okay, so I think maybe Sensei Zad will share later on maybe his ways on how to actually bring in the karate vibe, the karate environment at your group. But that will be a bit later. How about Sensei John? What are the challenges that you face during classes?
Okay, just now, Sensei Iman and Sensei Zad mostly mentioned is about the karate technical part. Okay, for myself, my more challenging is the camera setting for the student.
Yes.
That is interesting.
That means as a lecturer, you know, some of the students that when normal class, they are sitting in front of the camera, right?
Yep.
So if normal class, like the school class, is sitting in front of the camera, right? But our karate training is you need to away from the camera.
Agree, yes.
Then we can see your whole body structure. So you perform your training, perform your key hong, everything. But this kind of students, sometimes the camera is already shooting up on the sky. Sometimes they're sitting in front of the camera too close, only showing the part. So I'm facing this problem among 2 to 3 months. The same thing keep on repeating from the student. So I also headache about this issue. So I have highlighted to the teacher and make sure the student is in the camera, in the frame, so that we can do actual the what we can see. So for myself, basically, I'm not sure critical part on what the form they perform. Usually is I do practice like the basic. I do practice the basic first, show first, with slow motion or feel, then they follow. Because some of the students, they are not using the laptop or computer to on the class. They're using the handphone. You imagine the handphone, the size, the image.
I see, yes. You cannot see, very small.
Yeah. Then they're running back in front of camera and then see, and then they go back behind and practice. So usually I just tell them that I do demo first, and then practice feel, then only instruct to perform, to ask them to perform. Then as a instructor sensei, so I need to, like the student, need to run back to the camera in the face, in the camera. I need to check all the students. This is the challenging part for the as an instructor. So it's the different way from the physical training and the visual training. That's why we can't say that I mean in the face-to-face, then we can adjust or twisting the hand or whatever technique. So basically this way, when I found some mistake, we stick away, call the name, say that, oh, you not do right, you should go this way, the hand is higher, the block too low. So we are sitting in front, so we're pointing everyone. So the student will keep on follow the key from our sensei or instructor to continue the movement. So sometimes on these classes, the basic is not much, but the number of the continuing is bit longer. So they need to practice more and more. This is mostly my challenging part, because the viewing, we can't do exactly check everyone. Another my challenging part is last year my school, my club have 3 newcomer, the new student. So, but definitely we haven't face to face yet. We haven't do any face to face. So they only know me in the online.
The online setting.
So, definitely there is a 0. So it's quite challenging for me to how to teach them all the technique. So right now I try to still continue to let them to improve. I think
the human touch.
Yeah,
I think the human touch on sorry to interrupt. I think that human touch, Sensei John, very much needed for the first timer. They really need to
Yes.
Yes, that's why.
meet us. They really need to understand. Oh, this is my sensei. Oh, I'm following his karate class. Okay, but on the screen, yeah, very challenging. Very challenging.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Sensei John. Yeah. So again,
Oh,
another interesting perspective about camera. I mean, let's say if you are teaching non-sports or non-martial arts classes, I don't think the camera is much of an issue. Like myself, right? When I'm teaching, it is not required for the students to switch on their camera. Although it will be good, can to see when we are talking, we can see their faces. But for karate, martial arts, yeah, they need to switch on the camera. If they do not switch on the camera, how can we know whether they are doing the correct techniques, or not? So Sensei John's story about being a front and back, and then yeah, these are little kids, students, and some of their parents are not even aware of technology. So we need to actually not only helping them in terms of karate, but we also need to help them in terms of how to manage the online class, right, Sensei John? Like, okay,
Yeah,
camera,
yeah.
you need to go back so that I can see yourself, and then maybe you need to zoom in your feet so that we can see whether your gary is good or not. Okay, and like you mentioned, Sensei John, some of them will use phone. So as senseis, as instructors, you need to know, like what you mentioned. Okay, first I will demonstrate first, so you can put your face near the camera so that you can see the sensei, and then after that, okay, you go back and then you try. So that's, I think, a good input for all the instructors that is watching right now. Yeah, in terms of the camera movement and the camera settings to conduct a virtual class. So okay, so thank you, Sensei John, for your feedback, and also for Sensei Zad and Sensei Iman. So we have few more questions. I think we have another two questions that we will share. So I think we are going to have like a few minutes break, maybe around 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, we will show you the video, and then we will continue with the webinar. Okay, so while the video is being presented, I will read your comments and I will proceed with asking your questions after this. All right. So let's have a short break. All right. Okay. So, hi everyone. We are back from a short break. So, I think I can invite all the senseis back to the screen. All right. So, welcome again to our Selangor Shito-ryu webinar series 2021, in which this is the first webinar series that is organized by the Persatuan Shito-ryu Karate-do Malaysia. And this is our first episode in which we are discussing on a topic entitled How to Teach Virtual Karate-do Effectively. So with us, we have three panelists. Let me just reintroduce them. We have Sensei Iman, Sensei Zad, and Sensei John, who is experienced in handling virtual classes throughout, I think, 1 year plus, nearly 2 years, right? 1 year, nearly 2 years since last year, March 2020. So previously, we have discussed on how do they initiate their first class, yeah, on what are the challenges before and great insights. And I do actually learn something. I can imagine some of the problems, some of the challenges, but when I listen to Sensei Iman, Sensei Zad, and Sensei John, I actually learned something new. So even if me as the karateka can learn from that, the instructors, our fellow senseis who are watching, obviously you can try to apply the problems to understand the problem so that you are able to solve the issues that you face during virtual classes. Okay, now let me just look at the comment section. Okay, so we have a lot of we have Sensei John there. Good morning. Yep. Welcome everyone. Please do share. Yeah, we have few more questions that we can discuss. Yeah, and Chet Zais there, Arash, and we have good morning. Sensei Chan is here as well. Welcome, Sensei. We have Sensei Penchen Aina. Okay, hello, Sensei. Sensei Suku is here as well. So welcome everyone. Yeah,
It's
Sensei
nice to see
Alia
everyone.
mentioned. Yeah. Alia mentioned line connection always a problem to me. I think line connection is problem to all of us. So is there okay? Just a few questions to the panelists. Yeah, based on Alia's question. Is there any instances where the students or yourself actually have internet connection where you froze or you know? So yeah, did you have any experience with that?
Yeah,
Yep,
we
I
can
think
really.
everyone do.
Yeah,
Yes,
certainly have.
yes.
Yes, we do
I
have.
actually have a that definitely used to happen, and so my solution to that is that I had this. This is something I will share probably in the last question, but I
Yep.
basically have a dojo rule or an online training rule, whereby if I hang, you repeat the last thing that I was doing, and
Ah,
alternate it with exercises, push-ups, crunches, and then alternate.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, all right. So we are going to go deeper into that after this. Maybe the tips on how to overcome issues in virtual class. But that is a very good tips. Yeah. So we have another question. Senpai Jacinta is here. Hi, Senpai. We
Hello,
have
everyone.
okay,
Hello.
all right. So we have few questions. Do you want me to address this now or later? I think during the final part again,
Maybe last.
the question.
Yeah.
Last part.
Okay, so
Keep the
yeah, so I think
question,
let's continue with the discussion. So we have few questions from our viewers here. A very interesting one, but I think I'm going to save it until the last. Okay, all right. Okay, so now let's continue with the questions. Yeah, and the next question will be what do you think about the efficiency of virtual class as compared to physical class? So I think some of you did discuss that previously, but not in detail. So it's very it will be interesting to see what are the differences that you face, what works in physical class and what doesn't work in online classes. So which one is more efficient in your opinion? All right, so let's start with Sensei Iman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Daniel. All right. So the efficiency. When we talk about the efficiency, The online class, I can say the efficiency is on traveling. Basically, we no need to travel anywhere. We can be at the comfort of at our room, at our study room, or at our living room. But provided, as you said just now, make sure the background, as Sensei Zad said just now, the background is good. Okay, no disruption. Tak ada orang lalu apa, yalah berlenggeng kan, pakai slow aja nak pergi kitchen nak minum nak ke apa kan. So tak boleh lah macam tu. So that's one thing about the traveling issues. There's no issue at all, the efficiency. And second thing, we can see the good about the virtual class is that we are focusing the students more, actually much more than during as compared to physical class, because they appear right in front of our screen, you know. So everybody, kalau diorang garu kepala ke kan, diorang tak fokus ke korek hidung ke apa ke, we still can see them and we can just say, hey Daniel, stop doing that, focus, yoy. So it's something for parents to see as well, because usually when it happens at home, okay, the virtual class, the family are around them. Jadi kalau kita marah pun mereka boleh dengar. Kalau kita bantu anak dia pun, they can hear it. So can see the effort of the sensei very much, okay. Actually, the effort being put a lot, alright, to help the kids, the students' development. So that's a second thing. Our closeness in front of the screen in terms of the focus towards the student as compared to physical class. We need to have an eagle eyes to ensure, I think you know what's the eagle's eye concept, yeah? To see the class beyond people in front of us, to see like that, so we can see everyone. That's I can say the ability or the superpower of all senseis, I believe. Even the student behind here, we know, you stop playing. We can, in the physical class, that's always happened to us. We know, kita dah boleh set in mind siapa yang tengah main. Kalau kita boleh belakang, kita boleh say, I know you were playing, macam tu. And they will say, oh Sensei, how do you know? I got eyes behind me. Something like that lah. But not in the virtual class. We can see them clearly in front of our screen. But having said that, about the efficiency on the traveling, efficiency on looking at or you can perceive your students that clear, okay, still physical class have much more advantage than our virtual class in terms of the human touch, in terms of the efficiency, in terms of, I can say, the mood, the feeling. They can be in the dojo, they feel it, all right. But for the virtual dojo, that's it. If we have a bad day, or in terms of ourselves, it's not in the good, you know, physically or emotionally not good, not okay, we are injured or we are not healthy, or emotionally injured, we are sad that there are many stressful problem in the office and so on, okay. So in the online class, actually, yeah, we cannot really, you know, I can say differentiate it, because it's right in front of us, and sometimes the problems still happen, you know, like kids are quarreling ke apa, but there's still our class going on. There's an issue on with kids like me lah kan. Okay, macam tu. But having said that, it's not you know, too difficult challenges. Actually, it's just things that we need to manage. So being an instructor, being a sensei, I can say above all, in terms of efficiency and all, it's all depend on us. How do we perceive it? So if the internet problem, like I have the incidents 3 weeks ago, I am in the middle of the class. And yeah, I learned something from Sensei Zad, the SOP of the class, okay, the dojo kun for him. If he is unconnected, okay, disconnected, and so on, the student need to continue. So same goes to me. I was disconnected and all my gadget connect to internet. So what happened then? Cannot connect to internet. I don't know why. My laptop cannot. So it's the internet problem in general. You know, so my app, I try this app, cannot. I try cannot. Then the class being go on without sensei for 20 minutes. But luckily they are senpais. So yeah, the senpais just do their part. Okay, buddy, follow. Each they just do whatever they do. So after this, I need to remind, like Sensei Zad say, never been panic when sensei is not around. It's not in front of the class during the virtual class. Okay, so that's the thing. And then after 20 minutes, then I managed to come back. Parents already the message coming in. Are you okay, Sensei? You are disconnected. Are you there, Sensei? They thought I pingsan ke apa ke, runtuh ke rumah ke apa kan, macam tu. Then I just told them
Okay.
I bring out my SIM card and I switch off and switch on again my all the gadgets. So that's the challenges still. Tapi in terms
True.
of efficiency, I still believe virtual class is way forward lah. And this is the best avenue that we have right now. Kalau tak
Yeah.
buat, then apa
Yeah.
nak buat? Takkan nak suruh tidur je kan? Macam tu
Yeah.
lah. Thank you very much.
We just need to extract the best from what we have now, lah. But there's no denying that, according to you, of course, physical dojo is more efficient, and I think I agree with you. I think with not only for karate, for any
Yeah.
teaching background or teaching setting, it's better to have that real connection between the teacher and the student. So
True.
yeah, Sensei Iman mentioned a lot about efficiency based on the internet connection, and sometimes the internet connection is out of our power, kan? Although we have the best internet connection in the world, but if let's say that time and that day it wants to not connect, then we cannot do anything, right? So yeah, it's good to continue the efficiency, like what Sensei.
Yes, this is an
Yes.
issue.
Okay,
But
all right.
but let's go on.
Yeah,
Goes
let's-
on. Yeah.
Yes. So life must go on. So
Yeah.
just mentioned the problem of internet connection, and my internet connection doesn't like me to say that. So okay. So
Don't say
yeah,
that
as I
anymore, please.
mentioned, okay. Hopefully, half more hour, please. All right. So yeah, as I mentioned just now, it's out of our power, and as instructors, we can actually do like a set of rules. If I got disconnected, or you got disconnected, what should you do? And this are the things that do not happen in real life. In real life, we will not froze. Okay. So these are the new norms that we need to apply. That instructors, sensei, senpais who are watching now, you can apply this. Okay, if I start, okay, repeat and then push up for 20 times. Repeat and then sit up for 20 times, for example. So yeah, that's a good tips. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Sensei Iman.
I think it's a bit disconnected again.
Yes.
Right, for efficiency, for sharing
Okay,
the efficiency. How about Sensei Zad? How do you
Yes, okay, I hear you now.
feel about the efficiency of physical, the differences between physical classes and online classes?
Yes. Okay. So, like it's been addressed in the previous question. For me, yes, the efficiency in development of the students is much more challenging online. However, like Sensei Iman said, traveling, yes, that's definitely efficient. And sometimes it's efficient in a way that since most of my classes are small, I sometimes can combine the different classes into one. So that also makes it efficient. But generally, my answer is very short. Online class, in terms of development of student and retaining interest and retaining enthusiasm, is quite very challenging. And yeah, I think whatever ways I try to face the challenges will be addressed in the next question. Okay. I think Daniel is stuck. Iman, we can't hear you. Sensei Iman.
Yeah, thank you. So that I think our moderator is going to come back soon. So the same question I think for Sensei John.
Sensei John.
Yeah. The efficiency on your view, how do you think?
Yeah, efficiency, the physical and the visual. So definitely for the our development, talking about development, the improvement of the student, I thought is in the visual a bit low, a bit slow. Okay.
Yeah.
So for myself, just because this pandemic issue, mostly my targeting and my focusing is on the student. So for this visual card, we try to keep our own student is more like the mentality and physical still keep on training. So yeah, it's a different way just because the pandemic issue. So we have to do this way. We can't say that just because the pandemic or we have to close down our class or whatever. So that is the efficient for the visual training. So the focusing part is the different. So we're more on the mentality or physicality to keep the student moving on, and we don't want to lose any student. That is what's the difference. That's why Sensei Iman just now mentioned that in the actual class, your eyes it look all around because the student is around. But right now in the visual, we only zoom all the students all in one box. So for us, it's much more challenging. Is we much more focusing for individual because all in the one box. So it's quite challenging for that's the challenging way lah. So we need to take more focusing on the individual student because the parents is around them because they're in the class at the home. That's why it's a different way lah. Because last time is in the school, so the parents not around. They don't know their children what they practice and what they do in the class. So this is better way. Okay, so this is my my view on this question. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sensei John. So I am back. So sorry about that. I'm not so sure.
No problem.
The Wi-Fi is, out of my power. This is the problems that you can see.
The problem, virtual KarateZad event. No problem.
Events.
No issue.
Yeah,
no
these are
issue.
the
We
things
understand.
these are the things that we need to take note as instructors, and we need to have a backup plan, and don't panic if things doesn't go into plan. And yeah, when I'm teaching as well, sometimes the internet connection is not very good at that time, and then all of a sudden I go back and then my student sir, what happened, are you okay, blah blah. Okay, so we just need to explain what you need to do, like what Sensei Iman, Sensei Zad mentioned just now. Have a backup plan if things are not go according to plan. What should be done? So we need to do that as well. So like what Sensei, I managed to listen to Sensei John's explanation, in which to the efficiency of looking, when in online setting, we are able to actually see individual, again, one by one camera, you can see one student, one camera, one student. That is good, and also a challenge at the same time as well, right? Because you can see each movement clear. If the camera is good, we can see it clearly, okay? But we need to have more, attention, like one by one. It needs more effort. So I think, we need, as instructors, we need to take note on that as well, okay? All right. So I think we can move on to the next question. I think this will be the final question. Yeah. The final question is, what are your tips? And I think this, what are your tips for our instructors and our coaches that wants to begin the teaching virtually, and also to be consistent in teaching dojo classes online? So I think these are the questions that our viewers wanted to listen to, so that they can actually try to implement the tips based on the problems that they experience. Or if, let's say, they are not confident with starting the online classes, maybe with your tips, they will be more confident and they can be more courageous to start their online karate classes. So let's start with Sensei Iman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Daniel. Moving to the last question. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, after actually practice make perfect. We don't say we are the best in this, virtual teaching whatsoever. No, we still learning. but after almost 500 hours, I'm counting my hours because that's as I told you earlier, I treat our karate do class, our students. It's not like historical moments. Students are the like a servant of the tok guru, but now we are in the modern era. We are in the modern era whereby actually students, parents, they all are actually our clients. So by showing the real proof or the reality that we have done it almost 500 hours. So this actually instill confidence inside them to really follow our virtual program. So what I want to say is that first thing, all instructors, the tips that I want to give here, okay, be confident on whatever that you have before during physical class. Be confident during the physical class, whereby in the physical class you can control 20 crowd, 30, 40 crowds. So the virtual class also we possible to do that. So be confident, and with the practice along the way, we will be better in each session. So that's the first thing. Second, I want to share about my I can say my special tips lah, the ABC method. Okay, in teaching any of the class, online or physical class, which is first A is aware or attention or address. Okay, so you have to aware your group. You have to give a full attention to your group and address them properly. Okay, address them properly. All the attendees must be properly attended to. They must feel appreciated that they are in our session. Okay, that's the first A. Sampai dia ni clear. So it will make them feel welcome, and of course they will intact with our program for a longer time. Okay, and they will keep having the interest to join us more and more because we give the attention to them. Okay, that's A, awareness, attention, address. Okay, B, okay, the second B, A, B, C kan. The second B is be systematic. So jangan jadi haywire, jangan jadi teaching without plans. Okay, must teach with plannings, must have the syllabus with you. Okay, you must know what to do for yellow belt, for green belt, blue belt and so on. Jangan hentam promo je. Okay, take every class is the same. Every class like a senior class. We cannot do so. Okay, when there's a junior, address their need. They want to have a simple movement. We need to do exercise with them. There must be a few games inside the program. Okay, macam tu. Alright, and more importantly, actually, what I do when I'm trying to be systematic in the earlier stage of my virtual class is that I divide them into belt level. So yellow belt will enter my class during this 40 minutes. Then I rest 5 minutes. Another 40 minutes will be the green belt and blue belt, let's say, something like that. So divide them into group, and their focus will be much better, and the learning curve, the graph go very well. Right, they can be focused. Okay, they can learn more with us because we only focus their syllabus. Okay, all right, so that's the second B, be systematic. Okay, and lastly for C, A, B, C, all right, C is the control and compassionate. Control is imposing. We are trying to be a sensei, we are trying to be instructor, coaches, tok guru, like old days. We still need to, shout their name. Hey, Daniel. Something. Hey, Iman. Something like that. Okay. But at the same time, be compassionate with them. Where we know how to control via our voice. Okay. I usually in the physical class, I tell my assistant instructors, my senpai, all control would be in 3: your eyes, your voice, and also your gesture. So these 3 things will be the C element, the control elements in your class. If you only look at them, but you are not doing anything, there will be no control on it. If you move too much, you want to do this, you want to do that, you might not can help them much. You will be focusing on one group only, particular group. Finally, if you like only sharp babbling here and there, people do not know what are you trying to talking about, what you are trying to focus in this moment during the training. So the ABC must be really do well. The C actually more to kiai, also your voice. Okay, make sure the momentum is there. Okay, the projection is good, and then the tempo like a DJ. boom, boom. Ich, ni, san, shik, guruk, sik, chach. It must be like that. So don't, ich, ni. Okay, continue. San, shi, no. We don't do that, all right? We need to keep the tempo. Though our students are counting, we want them to really copy what we do. Okay, the shuhari process, the copy first, and then they start to have their own way, and then they start to evolve. That shuhari process have to be done directly to our student. So the ABC, that's my simple tips for everyone. Aware, address attention. B, be systematic. C, control and compassionate. Whenever they rest, whenever they need to rest, they are tired, let them rest. Let them rest. So that's all. Senpai Daniel, thank you for listening. Sorry for taking too long.
All right. Okay. So thank you, Sensei Iman. So that I think the discussion just now on the ABC awareness, control, awareness, be systematic, and control. I think it's a very universal tips, right? That our fellow instructors and senpai senseis can actually implement in both physical class and also virtual class. And yeah, it did help that you mentioned in each of the tips just now on how to, let's say, be systematic virtually. For instance, like what you mentioned, in virtual class, it's good if you have specific session for specific belts, right? Like the first 30 minutes, white belt. The next 30, maybe the first 30 minutes, white and yellow. And then the next 30 minutes is, so it will be more focused. So this is actually related to what Sensei Zad mentioned just now, in which in physical class, it's easy to separate them. Okay. So you can have like, okay, the junior belt at the back, okay, you can practice. Some senpais will look at you, and maybe the sensei will sometimes go to you to check. So it's easy. Okay. But in virtual, it's hard. So I think that tip is a very valuable tip.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah, we as maybe the instructors, okay, let's lump sum everyone from 11 to 12, all color belt and the brown belts in one, let's say, Google Meet. Then from your experience, it's very hard, I assume. Okay, so yeah, that is a good tip for instructors who are new to this online setting. Okay, thank you, Sensei Iman. How about Sensei Zad? What are your tips for newcomers, not newcomers, for our instructors who are still new with this whole online virtual dojo session? Yep, Sensei Zad.
Okay, so first, great tip, Sensei Iman. Thank you for sharing. I can share this later. Hold on. And I'm looking forward to Sensei John's tip as well. So for me, I don't consider myself doing an excellent job. So rather than calling myself giving tips, I would say I'll be very pleased and honored to share the steps I've taken to address the challenges mentioned earlier. So some of these may apply to some instructors, while some may not. So just this is how it is. So firstly, for me personally, I perform every routine I give myself, all the exercises, all the techniques. This is so that it provides an example for the students to perform along with me, at least, so they know exactly what to do. That's one. Another thing, same thing as Sensei Iman, we have to address them by name to get their attention if they're losing focus. This is it's the same thing in class, but it needs more attention when you're doing online. Okay. And then follow-ups is very important. This is something which I learned that I learned from doing classes online, that I should take on once we're back to physical class as well. I have to follow up weekly in between classes with the parents and with the students and also ensure the parents, they know how their students are doing. Lately, it became very necessary because some of them are becoming slightly losing enthusiasm
Interest.
and losing interest. They become a bit lazy because of the enthusiasm. But when in their class, there was one time when we returned to class, they're so enthusiastic. We just had our grading, got the belts, and we were just back to physical classes on premise. They were so enthusiastic, and then MCO hit again, and now they're down. Yeah.
True.
So following up. The other following up that I do is provide assignments. I give them assignment to record yourself, doing kata
That's nice.
and send to me weekly. Yeah. So, but by doing this, parents get involved as well, because sometimes they record themselves,
True,
so they
true.
know what's going on. So that is something which it's quite new for me. Maybe some instructors have been doing it all along, but for me it's quite new, and that's one way I use to mitigate this. So another thing mentioned earlier by many of us also is I set some kind of dojo rules online. So I have my screen showing my dojo rules, which I share with my WhatsApp group. So
This one? No, not yet.
I'll go. Yeah,
Not yet.
correct.
This one,
This is
eh?
the one. Correct. Oh yes,
This one.
This one.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
This one, sure.
So I have this general dojo rules. Inform on attendance, injuries, inform, close eyes. So this one is the quite common thing that we do. But then I have this online training Zoom setup. One house, one device. So sometimes you have siblings. I prefer that they have one house per device. But on occasions where they need separate devices because of space issue, then it's okay, but they must mute. I prefer them not to mute, but generally now we mute. So if they don't mute and there's two devices, you will have that feedback loop, that
echo,
screeching
right?
sound. Yeah, the echo. Okay. Number 2, space. So before training starts, set up your position where you have arm span free space at your sides and 2 big lunge step in front. So at least that's the rule, because we do lunges and swing legs. So that's the spacing. Standing location. Find a location at a distance away where at least most of your body is visible. So I need to see below your knees and up to your shoulders. So if your head is not there, at least I can see the technique. That's the minimum. Preferably, if you can get all. Real name. This is the part where we get some things funny. Sometimes kids like to put different names.
True,
And
true.
so initially, when that happens, then I set up this rule. I sent to all the parents. I mentioned, if you don't put your real name, I'll kick you out and you have to join back in.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I did that for the first few weeks. After a while, they gotten used to it and they don't do it anymore. Yes. They must pin Sensei's video. That's straightforward. Show your video. Always show your own video. Only stop when there's disruption. So for this, sometimes some students until now still at times don't show the video, or sometimes I just see the sky or the fan.
True. True.
That happens. It's hard to address it some, but generally most are okay. Some like to use virtual background. I just prefer not to. In some cases, maybe it's okay because they don't have a good background, but generally I just prefer not to. Sound or mute. Start your session with audio. I prefer that, but only mute when it's going to be noisy, when they know it's going to be noisy. So even though I prefer the sound, most of the time they still stay on mute. Most students, some students always on sound. So I'm not too strict regarding this. Supervision. Children below 7 require parent setup. So this is my rules for setting up. I've also got rules during there. So do not sit. At the beginning, they like to just sit down waiting for your turn. No,
okay.
never sit. Yeah, stand up. Okay. No share, no draw. Oh, at the beginning, it doesn't happen anymore. At the beginning, kids use the Zoom device, the Zoom what's this feature, which I didn't know, and start drawing.
Yeah, I think Zoom has
no,
that.
yeah, don't do that. So I had to include that. And similarly, they start doing it, I'll remove them. They have to join back. So
Discipline, yep.
at the beginning, it's a form of punishment. At the beginning, it used to happen. Now it doesn't so much. Talk. So since they were at the beginning, they were not get used to it. They used to talk to each other. I have to tell them, no, don't talk to each other. And
Chatting.
yeah, chatting. And not only talk, they also put in the chat box as well. So it doesn't happen anymore. That's great. And last is video connection is lost. This the one I mentioned before. So when video connection is lost, continue repeating the last visible routine and alternate that between the previous routine: push-ups, crunches, side crunches, squats, leg split, head swings. These are my routine that I always do during warm-up. and then general rule applies. Okay, so that
Okay.
is the
All right.
dojo rules. This is the most interesting part, and I might take up some time. From that, I'm a data analyst, so I keep a database of member records, guides, which are pretty much my personal class syllabus, uh, obviously based on MSK syllabus, and I give assignments. So if for those who may be interested, I do this all on Google Docs.
Yep.
What do we call it now? Google Drive. Yes.
Google Drive.
And so Google Drive. So I have all this interconnected. So I have a list of member records. I can show here member records. So they all is a proper database that you use. So these are students and all this information, and then from there attendance. I can put the date. I can get
That's nice.
a drop down of their names.
Wow.
From that I have this guide, and this guide I got Kihon static according to belts.
Wow.
Kihon Idoshiki.
Another
Nice.
level. This is
Yeah.
another level. This is another level
Yeah.
of karate. Wow.
And
This can be
Kumite
published,
techniques.
Sensei.
In a way, yeah. So
Yeah.
only recently, maybe a few
Daniel,
months
please
back,
help
I
on that,
actually,
Daniel.
so recently I actually shared all this with my parents, so parents can see this. So
I
and then
see.
kata, obviously kata.
I think Zad need to do another seminar for all the
Yeah.
Yes, please that.
Yeah, I could share this. I'm very happy to share
Specific.
this.
A sharing session, maybe for the next episode.
How
of the webinar.
how to
Yeah.
teach virtual karate do effectively. Second episode.
Especially.
Episode two.
Part two. Can.
Okay. Yeah. So
Okay.
this one is difficult. I can do this because I'm a data analyst, so I've always handled with X spreadsheets and all that. So maybe there's a tool out there. I'm not sure that people can find. Okay, or maybe I can help out. So unlike Iman's class, Iman has a lot of students, so he can separate each belt in different classes. For mine, my classes are a bit small, so I have to
I
put them
see.
all in one class. So
Okay,
I've been using the system even in physical. So when I came online, it helps because I can say, okay, first step this, for example, for white belt this, but for yellow belt this, and they should know. For
Okay.
green belt this, so it's the same step but a progression in improving techniques. It goes with
Based on levels.
yeah, based on level. So I can perform online. I can perform with the same count, but the different belts do the same thing. And same with kata. All the Kihon kata and all the Heian kata are all separated into 10 counts. So I finish each pam pam ni pam pam sanshi until go gyuju is the end of the kata. So all the different belts will start and end at the same time, and they know what to do for each count. So that's how
For each
I
count.
manage it for each count. Yes.
And that can help in
So-
online setting, especially.
Yes, that helps in online settings. So Kiyongata each 1-2. Heian Shodan each 1-2-3. Heian Nidan 1-2. So it's almost the same because the Embusen is quite similar. So
true.
using this because so I have a unit ID for each items, and they're all coded with unit ID. And from that, I have this last sheet which is assignments. So these are submission records. So I get the video, I watch the video, and I put down the date, put down the name, put down the unit ID, which is which kata, which kihon. I put down a percentage of completion, and I write comments here, and then I send these comments to the parents or the student themselves according to my feedback. And this is where this benefited me because I did not do this before. When I started doing this, I say, wow, this is very useful for me. And maybe hopefully it's useful to everyone. So most of the submissions are kata rather than kihon. So I will write for kata, okay, well, how's the ampersand? I comment. How's the te waza and geri waza, the hand and kicking techniques? How's the tachi waza, the stances? Okay, feedback on ido kion. How do they move forward? How well they move forward? I'll comment there. And how's the hyoshi, the timing? Then how's the chakugan, the eye direction? And
So,
other
since
summaries.
it's that, the parents will receive this feedback, lah.
Yes, they will receive
Or-
this feedback. Yeah, they will.
Okay.
So once I put in all in the separate cells, it will combine into this cell, and I'll just copy this and paste it on WhatsApp for them to view. So they
That's
may
nice.
have
Wow.
difficulty understanding because of the terminologies, but I'll just send anyway for their record. Maybe eventually they
Yeah.
get used to understanding it.
Maybe
Right.
they want to join karate as well. Oh, it's very interesting, and then okay, adopt
Yeah.
classes. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
And
You
also,
are you are bringing them to your journey as a data analyst.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that's so
in a way.
great. That's so great.
Yeah. The difficult part. So this one challenge. The idea is that all these items, the plan is to have links, video links to each and every one of them.
Oh, that's
So yeah,
nice.
as some of you may know, I'm starting a YouTube channel teaching karate now. So I plan to upload all the kihon, all the kata. So if they need references, they go to this unit ID, they click, and they can watch. So right now, the only links that are available are the general what's this? What do you call it? The official kata from Shitokai for all the kata. So that's the current reference. Kihon kata is my video. The kihon themselves, not yet. So the plan is to put it all up there as a reference. They can just go straight to it, and it goes there. And this is also,
We
I
support
also
you.
placed. Thank you. I also placed this in my website, also in KarateZad.blogspot.com. So they have these references. So
Wow.
I'm trying to build a full
Again,
set
Sensei
of
Zad,
references.
can you give us your website punya link again?
Yes. Okay. Let me show you.
www.
KarateZad.blogspot.com.
.blogspot.com. Okay.
Yeah, and my YouTube is youtube.com/c/KarateZad. So in my website, it's in KarateZad Guide, and you can see the spreadsheets here. They are connected. Yeah. So this is what I
awesome.
came up. Yeah, this is what I came up with in order to mitigate the challenges I face, and maybe this could inspire certain new methods or the same methods for your own challenges. And I think that's about it. I don't want to take too long.
if you need to record anything, you know you have a Senpai Daniel as your model, okay. for the techniques and so on, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a karateka, he's a good looking, then I think
Sensei Zad, yeah? For your so what I can conclude from what Sensei Zad mentioned just now is to be explicit, to be clear, to when we talk about visual teaching, there's a lot of factors, internet connection, your position, your camera, lighting, sound, distraction, more features. So we need to be, as instructors, if you want to go to continue online teaching, you need to be clear, like what Sensei Zad mentioned just now, right? There will be rules for each and everything. So there is a need, because there's a lot of things that can happen virtually, and not only in terms of the technical part, but also in terms of the instructions part. And I think with what Sensei Zad mentioned about development, following up, that is a good technique. So that I think with the following up, giving their development, we can actually bring the karate vibe. So when you give the development through WhatsApp, you know that every karate is everywhere. So I think it can help even the parents to be motivated to send their children. But this is suitable because Sensei Zad have a smaller classes. So I think let's say if you have a smaller number of students in one class, this would be better, right? But let's say if you have large number of classes, like what Sensei Iman mentioned just now, maybe the tips that Sensei Iman shared can be applied as well. So it depends on your classes, what suits. Explain briefly about your tips on how to conduct virtual classes for our fellow instructors who are watching today.
Just one more thing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, just one more thing. One thing I realized from when I separate the feedback to my students, I realized that I want to use this for my students to learn how to feedback on kata, so they can watch each other's kata and analyze from that. So that's one thing.
learning from others' feedback as well, right? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Sensei John, please continue.
It's not like Sensei Zad is more professional look like. Everything have the system, data,
Yeah. I
but
try
I
to be.
very simple.
Two thumbs up. Two thumbs
Thank
up.
you.
We are
Thumbs up.
your biggest fan. We are your biggest fan.
It's for me
Karate
myself.
Z.
For myself, I think computer class a bit not much a student, about 15 to 20. Myself, the most need to sharing on my own. Okay, I'm not saying that what I doing right now is 100% correct or you must be follow or either you need to follow that. I don't think so. Not much people can like Sensei that do all the analysis and data keeping
True.
for the track record. Okay,
Yeah.
so for myself, the most important is the plan and the training method. So as an instructor, you must plan, but usually the physical class and the visual class is not much different. Only different way is your standing view is the different as an instructor. Last time in the physical class, you are stand in front of the student. Right now, you are in front of the camera of the student. So there's two different ways. But the method of training or the basic you perform or the kata, whatever, the sequence is still there. Is still there. So the different way is when you do instruction, I think for the instructor, my advice is you're more focusing on your technique perform. You need your student to perform. So you need to do slow motion way because sometimes maybe you need to repeat 2 or 3 times.
True.
Because now you're using internet. Sometimes the data transfer will be lag.
Lagging. Yes.
Lacking.
Lagging,
Then
yeah,
some of
true.
student, hey, Sensei, I can't see your technique. What you doing just
True.
now?
True.
Yes. So do demo few time on your technique, then instruct them to do continue the training as usual. So just follow your instruction and you just follow the technique and what you show. Then you're more focusing on your student by individual. So this is my why. Next is right now because in the visual, your training space is limited.
True.
So the instruction of the technique may be some bit different. Like the kata. Kata you need to divide by section. You cannot ask them to from start until the end the whole kata in the one like physical in the dojo or in your usually the training place. So they may be have a limited space. So that's why you need to do the by section.
True.
By
True.
section.
True.
So that's the you need to bear in mind on this. For the kumite also, then you need to start going back like not so aggressive technique because maybe they're hitting the chair or table on the side.
Computer.
Yeah. So maybe they're hitting the window or hitting the wall. So more focusing like go for Ippon kumite, 2 technique, 3 techniques, that's enough. So you need to think about the space limitation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you can like usual, you not just like normal class. Last time we practice is starting from basic. Starting the whole program is warm up, basic, hidoski, kata or kumite, then warm down and finish the class. So you may change the other way, not always using the same method. Okay, is try to focusing let the student more on the interest,
The interest.
more interested on the different way. So you maybe on this week you're more focusing on the fitness part. So you must train is the different way. So it's more on specific, build up the fitness based on the specific the technique. So I think this one, if some of the instructor have gone through the specific sport science of karate, I think they should know about this way lah. So this is another way to teaching. So not only for normal class teaching, sometimes on your visual class, maybe you can do present some seminar, you do some video presentation and Q&A, those things, let the student to join. Because my student mostly on the junior and cadet, so they start thinking, and some of the something like what the homework after the seminar or whatever. Then you ask them to write back or feedback everything on writing. In the next class, they need to submit or whatever. Okay, I have done this before, and also doing some, not only on focusing on the training of karate, we have done like contesting like our school t-shirt design. This type of different way of the training, not just all the while focusing on the karate. So
yep. So there must be more to just maintain their interest, right, Sensei John?
Yeah. If not, you just keep up them to go training as a basic kata, kumite, this blah blah blah. Then they were also boring and fed up.
True, that's true.
Yeah, okay. Basically this is what I advise. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sensei John. Yeah. Sensei John actually give a different perspective on the tips. Yeah, and what I can conclude from Sensei John's explanation just now, he mentioned more on the instructing style, and I think that can be helpful. Like what Sensei John, like let's say in the physical class, when let's say you only show the punch once or twice, but in the virtual setting, you need to maybe 4 or 5 or 6 times, because like what Sensei John mentioned, there might be some problems with the internet, lagging, right? And then there needs to be more explanation. So that is some tips that instructors can include. Physical and virtual setting will not be the same, so you need to be aware of this. And like what Sensei John mentioned, yeah, your style of training must be more dynamic. It cannot be like straightforward, because in a dojo you can maintain that because you have the vibe, right? What we discussed, the vibe, the fun atmosphere, the dojo. But in virtual, they are at home, they will not feel that. So we need to be more dynamic, giving more seminars, giving more assignments, like what Sensei Zad mentioned just now as well, giving maybe t-shirts, just to make things more interesting so that they are interested. Because we do not have that feel, the vibe of a dojo that we miss so dearly. So yeah, I think that is a good tips from Sensei John as well. So yep, thank you everyone. Okay, I need 5 more minutes. Maybe we can ask few questions from the comments. Okay, there are some interesting questions. Let me just see. Yeah. Okay, this is from New Xiao Fong. Sensei, I assume.
Sensei, yes, that's Sensei Ngui from Sarawak.
Okay, hi Sensei. Yeah, so Sensei New Xiao Fong asks, do you think in future there are online dojo to replace the physical dojo? Meaning there are no more physical dojo, we can just focus on online, or maybe we can have a hybrid. Maybe some classes is online, some classes in a physical dojo. Okay, maybe anyone can answer?
Yeah, I think I would like to answer. It's a very interesting question, and I think it won't replace, but it will add to it, because somehow previously, before the pandemic, the idea of doing physical training online was almost unperceivable.
True.
But because of the pandemic, we're forced to do it, and we realize, hey, this works. It just takes a bit of getting used to. So maybe some people are starting to adopt this to an additional part of their training, and maybe they can train people from other countries. So, and I've seen a YouTuber actually having a course online. So it may add to the what do you call that, to the arsenal of teaching.
So it basically acts as an additional to make karate more interesting. So let's say if we have physical, so we have maybe some session of virtual. So just it makes things more dynamic. So yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sensei John and Sensei Iman. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think in future might be still keeping, although it's physical still allowed to go in. I think the visual we try to keep it. We try to keep it.
We need to have because we need to be evolved, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Sensei Iman, do you want to add anything to the question?
Sensei Iman, I think you're mute.
You are muted, Sensei Iman.
Yeah, thank you. I totally agree with Sensei Zad and Sensei John. It's true. It's going to be the alternative measures, all right, to put the spices on the teachings or the teaching and learning arena. Not only karate, perhaps other martial arts too. But most important, as our Mr. President MSK did mention earlier in his opening speech, okay, we have to, of course, increase the numbers of the instructors, capable instructors that willing to go out and share to the public.
Okay, all right. So thank you all Sensei for the answer. And I think virtual dojo will not be left behind. There will be, as an addition to our physical dojo to make things more dynamic and more interesting. Okay, second question. This is from Philip Maria. Is this a sensei as well?
Yeah, he's one of our black belt, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So this is from our senpai, Senpai Philip. So this is the question. Especially since you deal with young kids, how and what do you do to keep them focused and continuously interested for the full session? We know that kids have a very short attention span, even in physical dojo, right, Sensei? They are like, okay, and then they are in the in the habits. They look at they are dreaming.
their own world.
So right now in virtual, I think it will be more difficult. So how do you tackle this issue? Any senseis you can answer?
Can I share my experience? Yeah, a bit on this. Yes, karate and kids for me is cannot be separated. I'm teaching now. It's almost entering my 17th years of teaching. Kids are the backbone of our karate do actually, and they are the future. From the kids itself, they will grow, become young teenagers, and finally become adults. Okay, and some of them already given me, the wedding invitation. Some of them already give me their graduation invitation, and they grow in front of my eyes. So what I can say, actually, young kids, how to keep them focused, especially during virtual session, is that we make use of the virtual features of the class. Let's say in the Zoom, little bit opposite with what Sensei Zad do. In some time, I allow them to chat with me in the chat box. When they want to answer, it's true. Actually, Zoom class, we need to switch off the mic. Only our mic is open during the whole session. The starting, yes, everybody can. Hello, Sensei. Hi, how are you? Good. And then, okay, everybody, please switch off the mic. We're going to start now. All right. Then when I'm asking questions, they are trying to answer that, but then I say no, answer in the comment. Then they start to answer in the comment. So somehow that is the way for us to keep in touch with them. And then some more I say, okay, whoever done, please give me a sticker. Give me a sticker. Then they give me your.
A bit hang, Sensei Iman.
Your favorite emoji. Then I can say this. Yes. Can you listen to me? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Got you.
Boleh dengar. Okay.
Boleh. Now
can hear now? Okay. Yes. Distraction. I can say this quite weird, but this is what I find, what I learned from them. Yes. Distraction in the kids class is the best way for
Is Sensei Iman breaking, I think?
Yes, it's breaking.
For no, then they are you. Everybody can hear. Everybody can hear me.
Yes.
Now can. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
stuck again.
Yes. Okay. Now.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I think we can understand the gist of Sensei Iman just now. Yeah, just to make them
Okay. So that's
busier
it.
than usual. All right. Okay, I think I'll continue. Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah, I think that is what Sensei Iman mentioned just now is use the features of the online platform to our advantage. You know, making them busier so that they are connected to the class, like what Sensei Iman mentioned just now. Okay, uh, reply in the chat section, give stickers. So that is interactive. You know, they go there, they're
Yeah.
excited. Oh, I want to give stickers. I want to maybe draw something. Maybe if you want to make them more interested, right? Okay, draw a kick, let's say, so that they are inside the discussion. So yeah, I think that is one way. Sensei John, do you want to share your tips on how to deal with young kids and to maintain their attention?
Yeah, I'll go. So,
Yep, Sensei.
interesting tip from Sensei Iman. That's very great. That's good. I didn't think of that. For me, it's I need to call out their name. I need to call out their name, and I need to keep moving, so that they know they need to move. Once you stop for a while, they may be distracted. So they always have to
True.
be doing something. Another thing which I started off, but I think I starting to do less is use hand signals. Okay, everyone can hear me. This.
Raise your
So
hand.
that would help. So it's just for me, it's mostly those three. Nothing much apart from that.
Yep. Thank you, Sensei. I think calling names are good because students, if we call their names, they will feel very like special. Like, oh, my sensei noticed me. Like, best here. So I think that actually helps them to be more, focused. Okay, and I think movement is good as well because, yeah, children they need something that is moving, something that is dynamic. So I think that is a good tip as well. So thank you, Sensei John. Do you want to add to this question?
For me, I'm not giving any
Kids.
suggestion because I don't teach a kid right now. Mostly it's a big kid. My class is student almost big kid. By my understanding, yeah, the most of the kids, because right now they're doing a visual class, somewhere in the house, maybe they have a sister, brother. Those people around him, they will pull some attention from the other side. Maybe they do something like then they will look around. Okay, that's why for instructor, I think is quite challenging. So they need to find a way to overcome that, to let the kid to pay more attention to the instructor, but not the surrounding. So do some calling the name or do some movement, keep moving, keep them moving. Oh, so this I think Sensei and Sensei Iman also giving the point. So this also is same as my answer as well. Thank you.
Okay, so all right. So Sensei John have mentioned the same thing, that we need to be more animated, right? We need to be more animated because students in general are more they are visual learners. They need to see something that is moving and everything. So yeah, I think that is something that we need to take note as well. All right. So I think we have one more question. Yeah, I think this is the final question. Okay, this is from Wong Yet On. Okay. What is the virtual class fee charges? So I think the senseis can share their websites or
PNC, this one.
PNC. Okay, so for this one, maybe you can go to each sensei's maybe their website, their Facebook, page, and then you can ask them personally about how the fees will conduct. Maybe Sensei, you can share in the comment section your page or your contact number. Maybe someone who is interested, they want, this seems very
He is our very long friend. old friend.
Oh, okay. All right, but
People
maybe
call him Wong
Senpai.
Sifu.
Wang Sifu.
Wang
Okay.
Sifu.
Before
Alright.
before my time.
But maybe there are some other viewers who might be interested after watching to this webinar. Like, oh, this seems convincing. So maybe you can share your contact number or your page in the comment section so that they can, go directly to you, senseis, if they are interested. All right. So I
Sure.
think we have no question already. Okay, so I think on behalf of the Persatuan Shito-ryu Karate Selangor, we would like to say thank you to our panelists today, Sensei Iman, Sensei Zad, and also Sensei John for
Thank you.
going here and sharing your experience. And I do learn a lot. And I'm right now after listening to you guys, okay, maybe I should enroll the online classes as well. Karate is the only thing that motivates me to do sports. The rest I'm too lazy to do. So yep. Okay.
I think should.
And
I think not much instructor from our studio are doing the online. So some of them still in holiday mode or in
relax.
work from home. So hopefully after this talk and some of the instructor maybe they need to think and plan to start do some change.
Do something. To
Yeah,
start.
do something.
Basically. Yeah,
Have
we
a
need to
good
embrace
start.
the new norm.
Yeah.
True. Okay, so any last word from the other sensei, Sensei Iman, Sensei Zad, before we end our webinar?
Thank you to Persatuan Shito-ryu Karate Selangor for having us. Thank you for making this event a success. Okay, and not forgotten our special thanks to our president, okay,
Yep.
Tuan Abu Zarim, for officiating our webinar series. Hopefully, more to come. I mean, in terms of the sharing after this, more interesting topics that can be practiced, okay, can be used by all the instructors all over Malaysia. Not forgotten also, thank you for the backbone of this event, our president of Shito-ryu, of Selangor Shito-ryu, okay, Mr. Norazmizan Fauzi. And everybody, the viewers, we have our vice president here, the deputy president, Mr. Shantiram Belu, and all of you. We love you all, actually. We do it from our heart. That's why this event is a success. And whatever we share, hopefully, as Sensei John said, can be materialized. Please do it in your real class soon. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
Sensei
for
Zad?
me, same thing. Thank you. I'm very honored to be invited here, and it's very nice to see you once again after a long time of not meeting. Sensei Iman, Sensei John, and Daniel. Very good job. I never really got to know you before this, although I've noticed you. But very good job in moderating. Thank you for Tuan Abu Zarim. It's also been a long time since I met, and since Sensei Sensei
Sensei Zad, are you there?
Ahyo. Yeah. I've lost the name. And Sensei
Mizan.
Mizan, and all those who I noticed the comment section. Nice to see you all. I saw Sensei. I saw Jacinta. I even saw a comment from a different user, but saying that this is Kunasilan. I noticed that as well, and a lot of other people. Sensei Chandra and Sensei. Oh, there's just a lot. So what a great event. Well organized, well done. I'm just honored to be part of this.
Yep. So thank you. And yep, I think that's all for our webinar today. So inshallah, hopefully there will be more episodes to come. We will be discussing different topics. Yeah, and I think this webinar will be saved in the Facebook page. So let's say if you are not able to watch this live, you can just go to our page, yeah, to understand more. And I think this will be very helpful, especially to our fellow instructors, senseis, and senpais who want to enter the journey of virtual online karate do. So that's all from me, Daniel Baharuddin. And yep, this is goodbye. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you guys soon. All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Thank you for watching. If you find this video useful or interesting in any way, please like, share, and subscribe or follow.